Hey everybody, Tom from PC Gamer here with Rand Miller, creator of Myst, co-founder of Cyan, talking about Abduction. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So I got a chance to play the game. I was very excited to play Abduction, kind of your spiritual successor, modern version of a Myst game. Tell me about how the game's going. You guys are launching next month, I believe, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't be here. Yeah, I should be back at the office in crunch mode. But, you know, it's going good. We're showing it, and that's a good feeling. It's kind of like letting your baby out there a little bit to be seen. So, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about kind of how the Myst formula has changed. You know, what have you guys? Are you trying to just recreate that game? Are you trying to do something new? How are you going about it?
Yeah. So, it's interesting because I don't think we're trying to recreate Myst, but we're trying to take what we've learned and do that same kind of feeling. So the idea is that in Myst, people ended up on this dock. They don't know why they're there. That's completely thrown into this situation. Well, the sequels to Myst, you kind of know some of the story behind it, so it's not really the same feeling. With Obduction, it's that feeling again. You have no idea why you're here. It's not really related to Myst in any way. So you are plopped into a situation and you don't know the story. So hopefully it resonates the same way as people starting on that dock on Myst Island.
What type of puzzle game is it? Is it going to be the type of puzzle game where you'll want a pen and paper, you'll be writing things down, you'll be pulling levers and switches that you have no idea what they do and have to come back to, hours later maybe, or is it a little more straightforward now?
It's a mixture of both. I think we're starting out a little more straightforward. Hopefully we've built connections in. Hopefully we've gotten better at what we do. Myst, as much as Myst was praised, it had some arbitrary stuff. Riven, I think, was better at, with its language, but it also got too hard. I'd like to think that Abduction is, this nice balance. It's not easy. I mean, you put these puzzles in and you want them to fit the environment, and you want the environment to fit the story, and want the story to fit the puzzles, and you got to balance all that stuff in some kind of crazy way, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Cool. And talk to me a little bit about the engine you guys are using and kind of what it lets you do now, because you're on Unreal 4. Is there anything you guys can do now that you maybe couldn't have done before?
Yeah, well, the whole world seems more alive. I mean, the fact that you're using a dynamic engine, it's in real time, means that the leaves that you thought were blowing in the wind on Myst Island really are blowing on the wind now, and you can see that. You can have weird bug creatures fly by you, and the water can flow, and there's clouds in the sky. And I know people thought there were clouds in the sky in Myst Island, but there were not clouds in the sky on that original Myst. So it's all there now, and if the idea is to make people lose themselves in a real world, the more tools we have, the better the platform is, the more real the world feels.
And the other way I got to play the game was I got to try it in VR on the Oculus Rift. And can you just talk to me a little bit about what that brings to the game? Because it felt like a natural fit. The movement system was reminiscent of the very first Myst, where you're kind of like jumping from point to point. So was VR kind of always in the works with this game?
Yeah, we knew from the time we sat down to do the first design pass that we were doing VR. And so that was always part of the box. Good design defines its box first, and then, design within that. And so that was part of it. And so, it's PC and VR, and I think we knew ahead of time. So what that meant was there were certain things we didn't want to do. We had to design without, but it also meant there were certain things we could do. What we found with VR is that your sense of space is kind of amazing. I mean, you have a sense of scale. I know everybody gets amazed by looking around and I can see everything in 3D and turn in every direction, but the first thing I noticed when I go in there is, oh my gosh, the cliffs I'm next to, I can look up and see how high they am and how small I am. And just, it comes across as a sense of scale that I don't think you get in any other way.
So the last thing I want to ask you about is since Myst and Riven and Exile, a lot of other first-person puzzle games have exploded. There was Portal, The Witness most recently. How do you think the first-person puzzler kind of field has changed since you guys made those first games?
It's amazing. I get inspired by all the incredible iterations of first-person puzzler, and it's hard to put them all in one category because there's so many variations. Some people have a little more emphasis on story, some people on environment. You look at even Gone Home or Dear Esther. There's an incredible variety in the indie market, as people are kind of doing their own interpretation of what it means to walk around in these worlds that don't necessarily have the same goals we're used to, that have become standard gameplay mechanisms. So it's inspiring, and it gives us a lot of freedom, and it feels like now more than ever, it's a fertile soil for that kind of thing.
Or you have the Stanley Parable, which just makes fun of them all the entire way.
Exactly. One of my favorites. Yeah, that one's awesome.
Well, thank you very much for talking with me, and I'm really looking forward to Abduction. And stay tuned at PCGamer.com for more from E3.